Welcome on today's conversation on the future of work, where AI isn't just a buzzword, but a business driver. This is Lenovo Work Reborn, live in Orlando. Hello and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. For everyone who is new to the show, Eric, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Ericc Diaz, and I am the Chief AI Officer for the Teachers Retirement System in the City of New York. I've been in IT field for, going on about 30 years now.
Wow.
So I got an early start in college and kind of been doing it ever since. And I've had a very diverse career of experiences, but when I had the opportunity to get into AI, I had to kind of jump on that. So it's kind of like my passion now.
What makes you so passionate about it? What is so interesting about this new era of work?
So honestly, it's new, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of always jump onto those new things, which make them exciting, but it's the possibility, right? And AI kind of has limitless possibility. I think the interesting thing about AI is that people don't really understand that it's been around for so long.
Right.
And it's really generative AI that made it come to the forefront. So I think that it is a level of excitement in itself, because now we can expand upon that process. And as you can see, just being here at the conference, everybody has some sort of AI in it. So it's really exciting.
Yes. So recently we interviewed over 600 senior IT leaders about AI, about, bringing new life to the modern workplace, cybersecurity, sustainability, all of these topics. And in our research, we have learned a lot. And we're seeing that, like you said, it's new. There's things coming. It's changing. So as the workforce becomes more AI enabled, which skills or functions do you think are going to phase out? And which new ones do you think will be critical?
So I think as a starting point, you're going to start to see a lot of the more common mundane tasks start to phase out, right? So you might have those things where, for example, from a service desk perspective, those simple tasks will be the first to go, right? And I really think that it's important for those people who are in those companies who are doing these implementations to look for opportunities to upskill and keep that human in the loop. And the human in the loop will be where you'll get that critical value. From a generative AI perspective, obviously, prompt engineering is a crucial, right? But they also talked about context engineering today during the keynote. And I also think that's important because you really are going to be in a position where you want to keep the skill sets which are proprietary to your business, right? You want to keep those that understand it so that you can develop the technology a lot better. So that's my suggestion for that.
For the folks who weren't able to attend that keynote, tell me more about that role that you heard about today.
So when he was talking about the context engineering, it was going beyond prompting, right? Prompt is that individual where you're going to say, all right, I want this to happen and I'm this person. From the context is really just taking the knowledge of your business, right? And providing that to the artificial intelligence and then building upon that, right? So, it's not going to know just typing it in on a generative AI perspective what let's just say your cybersecurity processes are. But when you provide it that knowledge in that context, the agents, the technology can actually build upon that and grow with your agency, your organization.
So we talked about just now phasing out. Let's think positively and think about, emerging roles like you were just talking about more in detail. Like, which of these roles do you see joining your IT organization in the next 3 to 5 years? Like those prompt engineers or AI risk manager, sustainability analyst, like a bunch of stuff. Like what do you see happening and for your organization in the next 3 to 5 years?
So data is crucial to any AI initiative, right? So if you don't have a data science team or a data governance team, you're going to have to build that out, right? Because otherwise you're going to be in a garbage in, garbage out scenario. I think that even though vibe coding is very prevalent these days, I think you're still going to need to have those coders, those software developers to be part of the development implementation process. I think also, that governance is really going to be crucial to developing that. So you're going to have those more high-level skills, but I think it's just important to note that you build upon, one of the other things they mentioned today was like maybe not having junior staff, but you need to build that up to keep that foundation, because human in the loop is really going to be crucial to the success of any AI initiative.
You say that so passively, but it really is important. The human in this loop is crucial.
Right. Right.
Tell me more about, how you're keeping things human within your own organization by doing that, whether it's training
Right.
or AI readiness. Like, what does that look like for you guys?
So we started, I can tell you actually how we implemented AI in our organization. So
Yeah.
we started internally, right? So we're a government organization. We wanted to take those lessons learned on how we implemented with us before we actually put something member facing. So we put out our knowledge about what you call ChatTRS, which is our little play on ChatGPT from the
Yes.
naming perspective. Before we gave any access to anyone in the business, we were training them. We gave them an understanding of what the technology is, how to use that technology, and at the same token, giving them an opportunity to be part of that process. User adoption and education are also crucial to the success of any AI initiative, right? Because if you're spending millions, dollars, whatever, even if you spent $1 on something that's just collecting dust, then where's the real value to your organization? So that's kind of like some of the approach we took to actually getting the adoption and the usage of the tools.
If you could redesign IT around AI, automation, and sustainability from scratch, like somebody handed you the powers that be, what's the first pillar you'd build to support your workforce? So AI, automation, sustainability.
So, when we were looking to explore AI at TRS, it was really, first of all, getting an understanding of what was best practice overall, right? That was our start for exploratory because we wanted to start with a good foundation. So foundationally, we started with governance, right? We wanted not just our internal business users to understand how we're going to use it, how we're going to leverage it, but to then share that with make that public. Anybody who wants to know what our strategy is from a governance perspective, that's something that's available, right? So you start with a strong foundation from governance and policy, and then you get that user adoption, right? So really that's what allowed us to be successful with our implementation. We had the governance, we had the adoption with our policies, we had the support from the business, the support for the leadership. We have an executive strategy committee which is worked with and met with regularly to make sure that our initiatives align with the business strategy. So that collective partnership with the business, and I think the crucial thing is that the business drives the technology, not the technology driving the business, right? I think historically you'll find that a lot of times you'll say, I'm going to give you this technology and you're going to use it, right? Versus where AI gives you the opportunity to say, well, what's your pain point in the business? What's your difficulty? And let's apply that technology to make you more valuable.
That's a mic drop moment if I've ever heard one, Eric. That's really good. I love that. The business drives technology, not the other way around.
Right.
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 So, as we wrap up this conversation, I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think the future of work is. We call it work reborn, bringing new life to the modern workplace. What does work reborn mean to you?
So my bulk of my career was in IT service management for quite a long time. And I really feel personally, the way you're going to get value in work is by giving the people your employees, your staff, things that they enjoy, that at the same token add value to the business, right? I don't like, when I managed the service desk, I didn't like having the team do the monotonous things over and over. If you can give your team or you can give your department valuable work, they're going to enjoy it and it's going to be successful. So I think that's the way the AI should take away the nonsense and then give people things that they enjoy so they can be successful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you.
Eric. I really appreciated your insights. If anyone is interested in learning more about the Work Reborn report, make sure you download it via the link in the show description. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, check out the QR code here, scan it, and get your copy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all of the things to follow the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast and stay up to date on how we're bringing new life to the modern workplace. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us live in Orlando for this amazing episode of Work Reborn. I've been your host, Rita Risha, and it's been a pleasure to bring you insightful conversations from around the world, especially at this event, on how we are bringing new life to the modern workplace. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to stay tuned on more ways that we are doing just that, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe our channel and download a copy of the Work Reborn report today.
Lenovo.